Are you trying to do something amazing with your life? Are you really trying to push the limits of what you can accomplish? Then this message is for you. You've got to escape the hate to achieve anything of value and importance on a grand scale in this life, because people at every step are going to be jealous of you, try to take you down, and try and sabotage what you have going on. Half the time it's going to be people that are closest to you. Actually, probably most of the time it's going to be people closest to you. It could be family members. It could be your mother. It could be your brother. It could be your sister. It could be your best friend. And often humans, there's very few humans I've found in my life that when something shitty happens to them from someone else, or even if it's unintentional, humans like to get back at other humans. And that creates this cyclical loop of people getting back at one another. And it really just eats up your time. It eats up your headspace, which in turn eats up your time and puts you in a negative mindset. But it's one of the hardest things to do, to escape that hate and to actually rise above it and function on a level where it just doesn't bother you. And I would say it's bigger than being just larger than your emotions, right? Because at your core, your emotions are a tool. They kind of tell you where you should be headed in life. And you don't want to silence those. You just want to be in control of it. And so it's something that I've been dealing with personally. The more I do in life, the more hate I get, the more jealous people are of me. And if you don't give people a reason to be upset with you, they will find a reason, whether or not it's you didn't hold the door for them or you didn't give them the response that you wanted. I see it even in my own life with how I think about other people. And it's mind awakening, right? I mean, if someone is in your sights and they're close proximity to you and they're doing extraordinarily well, I think it's the natural human condition to kind of pick apart everything that they do, because you're thinking, why them? Why not me? Often, as we go through our awareness journey as humans, and we're all on this journey of becoming better, everyone at a different spot. I had a guy who asked if he could hold the door for me once, and I just wanted to get it for myself. And so I said, no, I got it. And I really genuinely think he was trying to do something nice for me. And he had a position in town, the town where my hometown, where a lot of people respected him. And I think he genuinely had heard a lot about me and he wanted to get closer to me and be a friend to me. But since I did that, it was almost like I was rejecting him. And that has now spun into a multi-year riff with everyone he knows being informed by his disdain for how I treated that singular moment. And it seems absolutely ridiculous, but that's literally how it works. And the younger people you deal with, the people under 30 years old, super influenceable by all of their friends, you could have a whole tribe of people hating you simply because you didn't allow someone to hold the door for you. So how do you get over that? The way you get over that is by, number one, anytime anything negative crosses your path, you want to take a deep breath. Let's do it right now. And you want to ask yourself, see, that feels better already right there. I used to have a voice coach because I studied acting in New York City. I used to have a voice coach that he said, every new breath is a new inspiration. So let's take one more breath. In through the nose, out through the nose or the mouth, you instantly feel so much more centered. That oxygen hits your bloodstream, makes you feel good. You want to ask yourself the question, do I need to be involved in this? Is this something that's important to me? And almost 99% of the time, when somebody does something out of jealousy or disdain for you, it's not rooted in anything factual. It's completely emotional. So that means 99% of the time, you don't need to give a fuck about it at all. So really what you need to do is master the art of walking away. Now let's say if someone approaches you in person and says something nasty to you. I recently came into contact with a gentleman who had been a priest for many years, I believe a Catholic priest. And now he's renovating his house and he lives with his dogs, and I think he just is loving his life. He's an older man. And he gave me a good trick just to really, when somebody face-to-face confronts you with adversity or something, kind of a rude remark, what to do. And that is the first time somebody comes up to you and they say, hey, why the fuck did you do this? And why did you do that? And how dare you? A good policy is just to simply ask them, hey, I didn't quite catch that. Would you mind repeating that again? And then you force them to have all of that energy again. You're not saying anything inflammatory. You're literally just asking to have that moment again. And a lot of people will just, in that moment, their rage will subside and they'll actually think about what they were saying, and they're forced to take a moment and actually think. Because it can be old people. I've had older people, for example, when I ran for mayor of this little town as a newcomer, I had been in town 7 years and did a food tour up and down the streets. So I did business with 22 different businesses. I had a lady who I used to eat at a restaurant all the time on Main Street, and this is a very small town. Very nice, always exchanged a nice word, never a bad moment between us. But when I ran for mayor, I used a slogan of the name of the city and then first. And simply because that aligned with America First and what Donald Trump used, and I talked about maybe trying to get Donald Trump to come to our city, that I must be exactly aligned with Donald Trump. And what you're going to find as you get older, people don't know what they're talking about half the time. People fire so much off emotions. They don't do research. They just take whatever pent-up rage they have that day and they're looking for an outlet, especially if something bad has happened to them that day. And so this lady literally came into my Facebook Messenger and just told me, fuck you. Just out of the blue. No respect for me whatsoever. Just completely wanted to be inappropriate. And this is like a 60-year-old retired lady with years of professional experience, a woman, a respected woman in the community, who thought it was okay just to do that to me without asking me any questions, whether it be because I'm younger than her or she thought she knew my number or whatever. And fortunately, I was in the middle of the campaign then, and I knew better than to react in a crazy way by inflaming the situation. It's so easy to do when you're running for office, even at the local level. I responded correctly. But anyway, back to the ex-clergyman who was giving me this advice. You ask the people to repeat themselves. And you say, could you repeat that again for me? And that forces them to slow down and to actually take all the things they've learned throughout their life and maybe apply it, right? Because you don't catch any flies with vinegar, the expression goes, right? You catch more flies with honey, not vinegar, right? You know, anybody that you go up to, we are emotional beings, and it all factors in life. And so you can't just walk up to someone and say something obnoxious and expect them not to get upset. That just makes sense. That's not being emotional. That just makes sense. So people generally ask you, after you ask them to repeat something, they'll generally chill out a little bit more. Well, the next thing you can do is what he told me. You pause for a moment and you say, this all assuming you're not dealing with someone completely unhinged, right? Who's just going to bombard you and try and fight you. You say, well, I heard this. I heard you say this, this, this. Is that really what you wanted to say? And anybody worth their salt as a person that's got dignity is actually going to try and have a conversation with you. And they're going to say, well, yes, I think this. Again, they're going to reframe it to be a little bit more cogent of an argument, sound a little bit more thoughtful than just some unhinged maniac who's coming up to you spouting profanities. And then if they continue to say whatever profanities or just make an argument that doesn't have any weight to it at all, right? You've literally tried as a human to build a bridge with them and tried to understand what their disagreement is about and be a good person and understand what they're saying. At that point, that's the time to say, I respectfully disagree, but I respect you as a person. Or just simply say, I'd love to have a conversation with you when we can speak respectfully to one another. I hope you have a great day. Let me know when that is, and walk away. And it's, like I said at the very top of this video, it's just so important that you realize that life is so hard. We're all struggling to survive. We're all at different places. And people, as they see you progressing, will pick apart everything that you're doing. So really, the best advice I can give you is simply to walk away and to simply understand when an argument is based in any kind of factual nature and something you need to address, and when it's simply emotional and somebody's just looking to tear you down. And the main key in that is just not letting whatever they're saying affect you. And so strengthening that muscle, the more times you do it, the better you'll get at handling it. I recently did a Facebook post for a group that I have for the city where I ran for mayor in, and everybody in the town, I say everybody, there were like almost 90 reactions. There's only 3,000 people in the town, but there were 90 reactions that all loved the post. And then this one joker comes on and he's laughing at it. And it's literally history about the town. And so obviously I know that that's not, what do I need to do? The worst thing that I can do is let that get under my skin. So you just want to keep strengthening the muscle of understanding that's because that person is insecure, they're having a bad moment, and you need to not let it affect you. Because ultimately, that is a muscle that's so important to strengthen for you to move forward. Because I guarantee you, the further you move in life towards your goals, the more criticism you will attract. So with that, I'm going to conclude the video. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Let me know how you handle those type of things in your life. I'm sure I could benefit from it. And I will catch you guys mañana. Have a great night. Peace. You're the best. Don't forget it.